Hey everyone, Eva Thompson here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be addressing 3 things that people do without even knowing, without even realizing, that make the intrusive thoughts stronger and keeps them coming back. So if you suffer from ROCD or retroactive jealousy, OCD, or you just get intrusive thoughts that you don't want in general, then this video is still for you. So getting straight into it, like I said, 3 main things that people do. Number 1 is fear. Fearing the thoughts, dreading them. Because what happens is, and I've talked about this in other videos, the stronger the emotional reaction is to a thought, the more that thought is going to keep coming back. So if you're strongly reacting to this thought, if the emotion attached to this thought is really strong, then your mind is going to think that this thought is important, it's a threat. The thought is just a thought. You're the one that is giving a meaning to the thought that is making you afraid. But all of this happens automatically a lot of the time, right? So you might get a thought and without even realizing it, your body might go into fight or flight straight away. You might get anxious, you might start worrying, you might start dreading like, oh, I've got this thought, is this going to ruin my day? Is this going to ruin my morning? Is this going to ruin my date with my partner? And we kind of go down this rabbit hole when the thought first enters our mind. And fearing the thought is the number 1 thing that you don't want to do. So the number 1 thing you can do to eliminate fear and anxiety when you get the thought is repeat words to yourself that resonate with you, such as, this is not me, it's OCD, or there is no threat here, or a lot of the time what's the other sentence that people like to use? It's just a feeling and it's gonna pass. That's the 3rd one that I was thinking of. So repeating words like that to yourself, reminding yourself that there's nothing to be afraid of physically, that anxiety, it doesn't need to be there. There's nothing physically that's gonna happen to you, this physical pain that you're feeling, this anxiety, it doesn't need to be there. And you can remind yourself of this even if it does happen automatically. The second thing that you can do when you go into this fight or flight is to take deep breaths. And what I like to use with my clients is something called box breathing. What you want to do is you want to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold again for 4 seconds. So if you imagine a box, right? So 4 inhale, 4 hold, exhale, hold. And if you find that 4 seconds is not enough for you and you can go for more, then you can do it's anywhere from 4 to 9 or 3 to 9 seconds. But just make sure that all around it's equal. By taking a moment and breathing deeply, and deeply just means sending the oxygen all the way down to your belly, to your diaphragm, so you feel your belly expanding and then your ribs, then your chest. So you're really inhaling that oxygen and then holding it for a couple of seconds and then letting it go. And you want to do that for about 5 to 6 rounds, so you can kind of help calm your body down. So first thing you shouldn't do, just to recap, is fear the thoughts. 2 ways to eliminate the fear is by repeating affirmations or statements of truth, like I like to say, like, this is not me, it's OCD, or this feeling is going to pass, or there's no threat. And breathing. The box breath is a very easy, obviously, thing to remember as well. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold, for the same amount of time, anywhere from 3 to 9 seconds. So moving on, the second thing that people do without even realizing that makes the thoughts stronger is fight them. So automatically, when you get a thought that you don't like or that scares you, you try to fight it. You try to, you're scrambling to find reasons why this thought is not important, this thought is not true, why it shouldn't be bothering you, why, for example, with RJ, the past doesn't matter, or with ROCD, why you do love your partner. And you are automatically, without even realizing, you're taking this thought seriously enough to fight it. So and I'll show you, and I'll give you a little bit of a perspective here. If a thought or a pen came into your mind, would you argue with it? Would you try to justify yourself? Would you be like, oh, I don't like the color of that pen? I hate this pen. I want it to go away. It's not going to. And I know, you might be thinking, okay, well, a pen and my partner's past, or a pen and this intrusive thought that I don't like have nothing to do with each other. But ultimately, they're both just thoughts. And when you get a thought and you take it that seriously, for you to fight back and to feel like you need to justify yourself and prove it wrong, and you try and find all these reasons of why this thought is wrong, and you just try to fight it, you're indicating that it's important enough for it to be that you need to fight it, if that makes sense. So number one, don't fear them. Number two, don't try to fight it. Don't try to justify why it's not true. Basically, don't give it that attention. Because by giving it that attention, you're indicating that it's important enough for that it's actually some sort of threat that you need to defend yourself against, when it's not. Because you automatically, because it causes anxiety, you try to fight it, and then you're indicating that it's actually a real threat. So don't try to fight it. Now, this doesn't mean suppressing it. This doesn't mean ignoring it. It just means noticing it. Noticing a thought is in my mind. I don't like this thought, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to panic over it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get major anxiety over it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to try to fight it and, prove it wrong, because it doesn't deserve that attention. So allow it to come in and allow it to go. And this takes practice. So it's not going to happen overnight. But it is possible. It is possible for you to reverse your reaction towards the intrusive thought. Because remember, like I said in the beginning, intrusive thoughts only come back because there is some sort of emotion attached to the thought. Whether it's a positive emotion attached to a thought, so whether you're looking forward to something or you're excited about something, or whether it's something that you don't like, a thought that causes you emotions like anger, sadness, frustration. It doesn't matter. If the thought is emotionally charged, if there is emotion attached to the thought will keep coming back. So you want to work on eliminating the emotional reaction that you get when the thought comes into your mind. The more you do that, the more the emotional reaction begins to fade, the more the thoughts will begin to fade as well. So just to recap, up until now we've got don't fear them and don't try to fight back. Don't try to justify why they're not true. Thirdly, we've got vocabulary, so how we talk about the thoughts, okay? So a lot of the time, and I've talked about this in another video, a lot of the time we start to use the word my when it comes to these things. And this seems very insignificant, it seems very trivial, but I promise you it isn't. When you use the word my to describe something, so for example, my intrusive thoughts, my ROCD, my retroactive jealousy, you're making it a part of yourself and your identity. Because if you think about it, think of one thing that you call my, that you want to lose or that you don't want. For example, my brother, my sister, my house, my food, my money, my partner, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my wife, whatever. All these things, when you say my, it does not indicate, your mind doesn't register that you want to get rid of something that you're calling my. So, and this is actually a very big topic in the weight loss community. People that lose weight are encouraged not to say things like my weight or my whatever extra pounds or kilos or whatever it is that, they say, because the word my doesn't indicate that you want to lose something. It doesn't indicate that you want to get rid of something. So simply use the word the other than my. So the intrusive thoughts, the RJ, the ROCD. It's a separate entity to me and it cannot hurt me. It's not a part of me. I haven't made it a part of my identity. And yes, it might be a part of your everyday life, but by continuing to call it my, you're keeping it there. You're keeping it in your everyday life, if that makes sense. So just to recap, number one, don't fear them. When you get that automatic reaction of anxiety, take deep breaths from your diaphragm, not from your chest, and repeat words to yourself that resonate with you, such as it's not me, it's OCD, or there's no threat, I'm safe, anything that resonates with you. Number two, don't fight them. Don't try and prove them wrong. Don't try and find reasons why the thoughts aren't true or why they're insignificant, because you're indicating that they're important enough for you to do so, that they're important enough for you to have to defend yourself against them. And finally, number 3, don't call them not my intrusive thoughts, the intrusive thoughts. So I hope this video helped you. Please give this video a big thumbs up if it did, and share it. Subscribe to my channel if you are new here. And if you've got any questions, of course, you can always email me, and I'll see you guys next time.